You're listening to Big World Network.
Phineas Frakture and the Curse of the Steamhotep. Episode 3. Written by Joseph Gatch. Read by Michael Young. There was a collective gasp from the crowd as the mummy was revealed. A few cries from some of the ladies, faint of heart, rang out as they collapsed from the sight before them. Abigail and Phineas, on the other hand, were already out of their seats and leaning on the stage to get a closer look at the body before them. Steamhotep, as Kavanaugh called him, was a blend of both man and machine. Clockwork was visible through ragged holes in the desiccated mummified flesh underneath the ancient bandage wraps. An ocular implant covered his left eye, and his left arm had been replaced below the elbow by a prosthetic limb, ending in a spanner wrench that matched the decoration on the sarcophagus lid. "Amazing," murmured Abigail as she took in the sight before them. "Simply amazing," said Kavanaugh's voice above them. Phineas looked up to see Kavanaugh leering down at them, or rather at Abigail. Phineas scowled and pulled her back to their seats. "Yes, simply amazing," Kavanaugh repeated, much louder this time. "The scientific community now is the proof that Egyptians were far ahead of their time in technology. But was this man a normal sample of the technology, or something far more? This is the question that now plagues us. If there is one, there are bound to be others. We need to find out if this is true. Based on the evidence before you, I intend to embark on a new expedition to further our knowledge of these ancient inventors, so that we may surpass what they knew." "What a dolt," said Phineas to William. "We have already surpassed those primitives 100-fold, and he acts like they held the secrets of Atlantis." Kavanaugh continued by giving the audience a huge smile. "Of course, an expedition of this magnitude will not be cheap. Although I am a man of affluent means, I cannot fund such an undertaking on my own, and benefactors are an important part of the discovery process. You can further science and our understanding of history by finding it in your hearts to assist us. In return, you will receive a certificate and an autographed photograph of me, suitable for framing. Donations for the expedition will be taken on the way out. Please give generously to further science, and have your name emblazoned on history forever." Phineas rolled his eyes and stood up. "A money pitch. I should have known. This is probably a fabricated get-rich scheme of his. Come on, let's get to the door before he oozes over here." "Phineas!" Kavanaugh's voice boomed from behind him. "Phineas Frakture, my old friend! I'm so glad you came." "Oh, Lord." Phineas cringed. He composed himself quickly and turned around, giving his best smile. "Kavanaugh! Wouldn't have missed it." "Please stay. I have something to show you. Your friends can stay as well," he added, looking at Abigail. "I will only be a moment. You know the price of fame?" Kavanaugh mingled with the crowd, answering questions and autographing programs. When he was finished, he personally escorted the trio backstage, where the mummy had been taken by the stagehands. "You know," Kavanaugh addressed Abigail and William, "Vinny and I go way back, to elementary school. We were the best of friends, practically inseparable." "Really? Vinny has never mentioned you until now," said William. Phineas glared at him. "I didn't want you to be jealous that I knew someone famous, Willie boy." Abigail squeezed in between the two and pinched their arms, separating them with muffled yelps. "Mr. Kavanaugh, how do you explain this extraordinary find?" "Please call me Edward, and this baffles me as much as everyone else. That is why I asked my friend here to take a look at him. Phineas was the foremost mechanical expert in our class. If anyone can figure out this conundrum, it's Phineas." "What do you know about him?" asked Phineas, as he prodded the mummy's clockwork with a pen. "There's not much written about Steamhotep in the scrolls we found. only that he was a master builder and quite possibly the most intelligent man alive for his time. The tomb we found in him was very sparse and seemed to be much older than the items within it. Nothing about this find makes sense, but imagine what he could teach if he were alive today. For someone who kept life going through clockwork several millennia ago, he would fit right into our society today. Aside from his very bad complexion, mentioned Phineas. Did you find the key? The key? I have no knowledge of a key being found. Why? If you look here, at the mechanism where the heart would be, there's a hole for a key. Your curse mentioned one, did it not? It did. However, we thought it was a metaphor. Phineas took the program and a pen from his pocket and began drawing out a pattern. This is what it looks like, at least the key part. How did you do that just by looking at the hole? Asked William. Clockmaker's son? Possibly, Phineas returned, cocking his head. Now that you mention it, there was a tool that my assistant Burke had found that we assumed was an ornamental brain remover, said Kavanagh. A brain remover? Asked Abigail. Yes, it's quite fascinating how the Egyptians mummified their dead. You see, they took this long hook and jammed it. Phineas held up his hand. Please, spare us the details. If you don't mind, I would like to examine our friend a while longer. Of course. I was hoping that you would be interested enough to take a look. Everything here will be at your disposal, said Kavanagh. I was going to take in some lunch, if you two would care to join me. I could regale you with my exploits abroad. Phineas? Asked Abigail. However, he was already poking around the clockwork, and was in a world all his own. I guess lunch it is, she said. Come along, William. Let's leave the great explorer to his means. Before Phineas realized it, the sun had gone down. Rubbing his eyes, he bundled together all the notes and drawings that he had made during his examination, and began heading for the door. The audience hall wouldn't be in use again until morning, when the mummy would be put on display, though Phineas wondered why no one was around. Almost on cue, something was knocked onto the floor, and rattled around for a few seconds. Phineas looked around and strained to hear any other noise. A footstep, perhaps. Kavanagh? No reply. Abigail? William? Still nothing. Phineas arched an eyebrow. Steamhotep? He chuckled. If you are to curse me, do not waste your time. I already teach the sorriest lot of imbeciles that you could find. Enjoy your stay. He closed the door behind him, and once he was gone, a small figure came down from the upper galley, where it had been watching the professor at his work. Cautiously, it examined the mummy and the surrounding artifacts. This is bad, the figure said in his native tongue. He must be stopped, no matter what.
You're listening to Big World Network.